everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, then welcome to my channel. My name is Georgina. I am a mum of one and I'm currently 39 weeks pregnant, and this is my what's in my hospital bag video. So this will be just our hospital bag plus the bag that I'm taking with all of our food in, because obviously that's the most important bag. And I will film a separate what's in my baby's hospital bag. So to give a little bit of background about me, this is obviously my second baby, so my second time of packing a hospital bag. With my first baby, I ended up having a cesarian section, so that is in mind for this hospital bag, but I am planning a vaginal birth, a Vbac birth. Yeah, I am planning a vaginal birth after cesarian for this time. So I am covered for both kind of scenarios, and that reflects quite a lot in the clothes that I am packing. So with my first baby, I ended up packing so lightly, it was ridiculous. I barely took anything. I just took the bare bones and had the logic that I wouldn't be in hospital for very long. We lived really close to hospital if I needed anything, and yeah, didn't really take a huge amount. I am packing quite a lot more this time round, but it's a lot more stuff that I know you would end up wanting or needing, or just for comfort and just to know that it's there. I don't see that there's any harm in overpacking and being more comfortable and enjoying your time a little bit more. When I was in hospital, so I ended up being in hospital for quite a long time in labour. I was in for about 24 hours, no, longer than that. I went into hospital at 6 p.m. on the Monday and left at 11:30 p.m. the following day, but I was in labour, oh no, the day after that. I was in there for like 2 days, but yeah, a day was in labour and a day was in recovery. So yeah, I was in hospital for quite a long time. So when I was in labour, I didn't actually use my bag even once, I don't think. I kind of had everything I needed on hand, but when I was in recovery, I ended up having to text my husband Rich, who had gone home and then was obviously coming back in the morning. I had to text him like this massive list of stuff that we needed, just because I had underpacked so badly. Like I had the wrong clothes, I didn't have like enough toiletries, and yeah, I just had really badly underassessed the situation. So this time round, I didn't want to have to do that, even though it's not the end of the world, and if you need to do that, then that's fine. I just wanted to have everything with me because there was quite a long, well, it wasn't that long, it was about a couple of hours, but I was woken up at 5 and Rich didn't get in till 11, 5 a.m. till 11 a.m. So there was like a period of time where there was some like home comforts that I would have liked to have had, and when you have a newborn, they just sleep the whole time you're in hospital pretty much. So it's quite, I don't want to say it's a boring period of time, but there's a lot of time that passes where you have nothing to do. So I have made sure that I'm a little bit better equipped this time round. When I go through, I will discuss with you the logic behind why I'm packing stuff and whether you actually need it or not. And whether I'm just packing it just for myself, really. Okay, so the first thing I've packed is a dressing gown. I bought this one from Primark and I am so excited to use it. It's unbelievable. It's just one of these really light, like flannelly ones. It was £8, really non-expensive, and oh god, like I've been saving it for labour and delivery. This I would really recommend, and I would recommend buying one that is like this lighter material, like the cottony ones. With my first baby, it was a November baby, so I did think I would be cold, and I ended up packing a dressing gown like this one here, like a big furry one, but like labour wards and recovery wards, is it labour ward where you go afterwards? Wherever you go afterwards with the newborn, they are boiling. Like they really go to great lengths to keep the rooms warm, because obviously you have a new baby and the new babies are the priority. Hiccups. The new babies are the priority to make sure that they stay nice and warm. So you end up being so hot in like a big thick dressing gown. I would recommend taking a dressing gown, especially for me, because I had a cesarian section. the bruising in your tummy after, like, I think everybody is concerned about the scar when they pack their hospital bag, but for me, the bruising in my tummy was way worse than making sure there was nothing on my scar. I couldn't have anything on my tummy, so even if I wore leggings and pulled them right up, or pajama bottoms and pulled them up above my scar, it was really, really uncomfortable on my tummy. So I ended up like wearing them like below my scar and folding them right down, but obviously that's not practical because they end up coming down. So I just wore a dressing gown because then I could tie it like just underneath my boobs, like how you would when you're heavily pregnant, and it was just so much more comfortable for me. Like I could just sit there in a lot more comfort, not have to worry about anything rubbing on my scar, and not having to worry about any pressure on my stomach. They're obviously great for breastfeeding as well if that is your plan, because you can just slip a boob out and it's just a lot cooler. So that would be a really big recommendation, and like I said, I would go for a lighter, cooler version. This next one is for labour and actually giving birth, but I highly doubt I'm going to use it, but just in case, I have packed it, and that is a bed shirt, also from Primark, which was £8. Again, I think maybe a little bit less. These are perfect for labour because obviously you've got access to them. They're buttoned down for skin to skin and they are buttoned down for breastfeeding. But I gave birth, well, for the majority of my active labour, I was stark naked. Like there was nothing that I was going to wear. I couldn't be covered up, and I did not want to wear clothes. And I was adamant with my first baby that I would not be that person. Like I was going to be modest and I was going to be private. And I spent ages picking out a nightie for my first baby's birth outfit. But yeah, didn't wear it. I've never worn that nightie actually, it's massive. I bought a size 16, it didn't fit. So yeah, so with this, I think it's a size 10 maybe. So small, so it's 6 to 8, so I might have under-egged that, but I'm pretty sure I will squeeze in it. If not, I will just undo the butt, I don't know. But yeah, I kind of bought that quite loosely, like knowing that I probably wouldn't end up wearing it. But if I did want to wear something, then a bed shirt or an old shirt, like if you've got any old shirt or your husband's old shirts, they would be ideal. Next thing is a nursing bra, pretty bog standard. I've packed a white one because I use the black one at the moment. But yeah, nursing bra. I have packed 3 pairs of socks and a packet and a set of slippers. These slippers are brand new. My mum bought them for me for hospital. Definitely recommend having slippers just because it's comfortable and it's nice. I would buy new slippers as well if you can, because it's just like a little treat. I like to buy everything like for my hospital. With my first hospital bag, I ended up using pretty much everything that I had already, and that really annoyed me because I kept on having to dip in and out of my bag and it was never really packed. And with my first baby, my waters had broken, and I was still repacking my bag like as my waters had broken, like as we were on our way to hospital, which is really frustrating. So this time around I did end up buying a lot of stuff, and I am more excited about my hospital bag. It feels like more of a treat and a luxury, like we're going away, I don't know. So yeah. But I've also packed 3 pairs of socks because I am a bit of a sock fiend. I do like socks. Underwear wise, I've just packed black underwear. I would definitely recommend going for darker colours because obviously there's a lot of blood loss afterwards, but it doesn't really matter. If you're okay to lose your pants or have them stained, it doesn't really matter. I have also packed swimwear. I have packed my bikini top and I have packed Richard's trunks because I do really hope to have a water birth if it is available on the day. I've packed Richard's trunks because he asked me to. I highly doubt Richard's going to get in that water once it starts to go a little bit gross, but just in case he wants to, like, they're only little, so I have packed them. And I've packed a bikini top. Again, I highly doubt I will wear this. I will probably do it in the nud because that is clearly how I feel best when giving birth, but I've packed it just so I have the option. Toiletry wise, I have packed quite a bit this time around, and this is very different to my first labour and delivery. I packed barely anything. I think I packed like deodorant and that was it. But this time around I did want to have a lot of home comforts because I did feel gross after my first labour. Like I didn't care at the time, and then the following morning when I woke up I just felt so disgusting and I really wanted all of this stuff, and I got Rich to bring it in for me. And because it wasn't packed last time, I think he found it quite hard to know where all of my stuff was. So this time around, I'm not taking any chances and I'm just gonna take it with me. So in here I have 3 packets of breast pads. Yeah, 3. These are the Laniso ones, which I definitely think are the best ones, and these are just pre-packaged, but you can just buy like a box of breast pads and use those. I have packed 3 packs, that's 6 in total. You might not need that many because your breast milk doesn't tend to come in whilst you're in hospital, but for me I'm already using them because I have some quite bad leakages, so I just figured that I probably would end up using them. So it's, I don't know, it's worth having, but you don't necessarily need those. I have a flannel because when you are in labour, this is quite a nice thing to have, like just as cold compress for your head. I did use that quite a lot in my first labour. I have a hairbrush. I have this stuff which I love. Again, I packed it for my first labour and didn't use it, but I do really like it. And this is called Cool It Mama, which is from, I think it's the Natural Birthing Company, yeah. And this is basically just like a cooling body spritz. And I used this a lot in my first pregnancy, just when I was getting hot, when I was getting bothered, when I was getting stressed. It's got loads of like essential oils in it and it smells really nice. But I just thought it can't hurt to pack it because I did use it a lot in my first pregnancy, especially when I was getting stressed. I have packed arnica because it is really good for for bruising and to reduce swelling. I didn't use this in my first pregnancy, but I picked up the tip since having Rory, like loads of people have recommended to take it. I just picked this up in Boots. I think it was quite expensive. Yeah, it was about £5, which I wasn't really expecting. But like I said, having a cesarian, the bruising afterwards is really painful. And obviously just all birth is quite traumatic to the body. So it can't hurt to give those a go. I have packed a toothbrush for me and also for Richard. Same thing really, he was in our labour for a really long time and I think he felt a bit gross, so he really appreciated having a toothbrush last time. And I've packed a full-size toothpaste. You can get miniatures obviously, but toothpaste is something you're always going to use, so I just thought I'd buy a full-size one because we'll use it when we get home. I've packed a few hair bubbles, 3 hair bubbles, and a lip balm. I've packed 2 lip balms actually because this one's on its last legs and I just bought a new one which I've chucked in with it as well. Lip balm is a really big essential. With gas and air, they really dry out your lips. Generally just breathing a lot dries out your whole mouth and lips. And also I found that I was really dehydrated after labour, so it really helped to have lip balm, and this is something that I used all the time postpartum as well. I have packed a miniature shampoo and conditioner, and I have packed a miniature body wash, and I've packed a miniature deodorant and dry shampoo because I love dry shampoo. I've packed a miniature pack of face wipes, which I think will come really handy, and just a moisturiser. That's my just everyday moisturiser. I've also packed paracetamol. Obviously this really isn't an essential because the hospital will give you paracetamol, but I wanted to know where this was for labour basically. Paracetamol in labour is a pretty annoying thing, and you'll get offered it a lot in early labour, and it is the most frustrating thing in the world, but it can't do any harm to take the edge off initial labour. And I just wanted to have this in my hospital bag so I knew where it was, so if I needed it when in labour I wouldn't have to go like looking for it or sending Rich for it. It would just be in my hospital bag with everything else that I needed. The only other thing that I'm going to pack that I haven't already is exfoliating mitts, which might seem like a really weird one to all of you, but that was something that I was desperate for when I first gave birth to Rory. I had a cesarian, so the drugs that they give you in a cesarian section can make your skin really itchy, and also I'd spent a lot of time in the bath in like active labour, so my skin was starting to, like, you know, if you go in the bath and then your skin starts to go really soft and like flake away a little bit. So just after I'd given birth to Rory, my skin was so itchy and I couldn't stop scratching it, and it was like getting all under my fingernails. It was the grossest I've ever felt my whole life. And I asked Rich to go home, like we were in recovery at 11:30 at night. And I asked him to go home and get my exfoliating mitts and bring them back, to which obviously he was like, no, I'm going home and you're going to sleep. But the next day I didn't want to have a shower until I knew that I had my exfoliating mitts and I could just like get rid of all of that dead skin, because it was disgusting. Like, it was the best shower I've ever had just to get rid of all of that skin. It was gross. The next essential is definitely maternity pads. Again, this is something you don't necessarily have to pack because the hospital will provide them in abundance. But because this pack was quite small, normally it's like a much bigger pack, I thought that they would be fine just to take with me. And again, I guess it's something that maybe you don't necessarily have to ask for every time you need a new one. So if you don't, then just take a packet. I am taking a packet of 12. You probably don't necessarily need that many, but again, it's something that I didn't want to have to go and get more of if I was staying in hospital for a few days. You probably get through maybe like 3-4 a day, I would say. Maybe, I can't really remember, maybe more. But another reason that these are really good is to use for a cesarian scar if you are having a cesarian, or if you might be, well, sometimes it's out of your control, and that is to stick these to your like pant front across the scar, just to like add a little bit of extra cushioning to the area. I am going to be taking makeup, which is something that I did not take with my first labour, and something that I did really want. Yeah, I would have really appreciated it at the time, just to make myself feel a little bit more normal again. And this is literally just everything I use every day. So there is like eyebrow stuff, lip balm, foundation, powder, bronzer, mascara, and then some brushes, and that is it. Another essential is your phone charger. If you can, I would recommend getting an extra long phone charging cable, because sometimes the cables are a little bit far away, and also take a plug because you don't really know the setup of your hospital. But yeah, my bed was like in the middle of my cubicle, and then the phone, like the plug was like quite far behind me, so it didn't reach. So I would use an extra long one. The only thing with my phone is it's one of the newer models that detects when it is not like a legitimate Apple lightning cable, so it doesn't work all the time. So I did want to pack an Apple one just in case that happened. And I would definitely recommend as well keeping this in a place that is really accessible. My bag got like unpacked and repacked a couple of times, and then by the time I got to my recovery unit like cubicle thing, my phone charger I think must have been like in the bottom of my bag possibly, and I couldn't bother to go and look for it, and I actually couldn't move after a cesarean anyway. Yeah, I couldn't bother to look for it, so I didn't charge my phone up till the next day when I was a little bit more with it and capable. But it would have been beneficial to have had it like in the front pocket of my bag or something, where I could have just got to it really easily, or told somebody where I knew it was, and then I could have charged my phone up overnight. So for me, I'm going to be keeping it in this front pocket here. Another thing that I'm packing are 2 sets of headphones. I am doing hypnobirthing for this labour, and I also have my hypnobirthing CD here somewhere, just in case they have a CD player, or I don't know. Yeah, here it is. Just in case they have a CD player, or I feel like I want it louder or whatever, or the headphones are annoying me. I also have the hypnobirthing tracks on my phone, but like I said, like with the battery and stuff, that can be a little bit unreliable. But I have packed 2 sets of headphones, one for me for my hypnobirthing, and then Rich also asked me to pack him a pack, I guess for entertainment. Obviously you have to pack your hospital notes. I keep these in the little slip thing just because I like to know that, I don't know, they're protected, and you can chuck other things in there that you feel like you might need. But yeah, so pack your hospital notes, make sure they're accessible though, because you might have to get to them a couple of times before you go into birth after packing your hospital bag. This is a little bit of a luxury, and I'm sure many people will laugh at me, but I am packing a book. Like I said, when I woke up at 5 o'clock, I was woken up at 5 o'clock for tests and could not get back to sleep, and then Rich wasn't coming until 11 o'clock, and there is only so much you can scroll your phone in that time. Your newborn sleeps, so they don't really need you. You have help with your newborn as well, so I was really bored. So for this time I am packing a book just for a little bit of entertainment. Also, if you're there for a couple of days and you're breastfeeding or just generally feeding, you might want it for night feeds, just to kind of, I don't know, give you something to do instead of staring at a blue curtain. Yeah, I feel like for something quite small you can pack it and it's quite easy. Obviously you have your phone, and that pretty much has your life on it, so you could just go with that. But I just found I was like aimlessly scrolling social media a few times, so I thought I'd pack a book this time. Clothing wise, I am packing quite a lot, and I think a few people would say you don't need this much, but for me, I really struggled not having choice. And also with the postpartum bleeding, I got through like quite a few sets of clothes, and I was only in recovery for 24 hours, so it's definitely worth considering taking a few sets of clothes. I am taking a pair of maternity joggers for the reason I told you before about having the bruising on your belly, and the elasticated waistband of my leggings in my first labour was really painful on my stomach, so I'm taking maternity joggers this time round just in case I have a cesarian. I am taking a normal pair of leggings just in case I don't, and then I'm taking a top in case I want to give birth in this instead. This is just a black maternity top that I pretty much wear all the time and need to wash it before we go, but I just thought I might want to give birth in that top instead, possibly. I'm not really sure. I'm not that fussy about it. A vest top to go home in, like an overshirt thing to go home in. Joggers just in case, or if I'm in there for a couple of days, then I would want a change of clothes. I've packed like another old kind of bed shirt, just in case I'm in there for a few days, like basically as pyjamas. And then my biggest essential that I would recommend that everybody packs is a dress. You can pack a maxi dress. This is a maternity dress that I've not yet worn. It is from Lidl. It's just black and plain and midi length, and it's quite fuddy, like I probably wouldn't wear it normally. But hear me out on this one. When I first gave birth, I'm going to talk about it again, the bruising to my tummy was so tender. I found it so hard to wear any set of clothes, so I ended up wearing a maxi dress quite a lot because obviously again you've got nothing on your belly, no pressure or anything like that, and for me that would have been the ideal thing to come home in with my first birth, and I didn't have it. I had packed leggings and a top, and I ended up leaving in my dressing gown because I didn't want to put anything on my belly, and obviously leaving in your dressing gown isn't ideal, and it was cold because it was like 11:30 in November. So yeah, so I've packed a dress this time around, and I really would recommend that everybody takes a dress just in case you end up having a cesarian section. I've packed all of this in my Pack-A-Pod Croyd changing bag. I've just basically taken the pods out, but this bag is such a good size, I can't fit it in. Yeah, really good size. Lots of people recommend you took a suitcase, but I found that more awkward with my first one because you had to kind of carry it or drag it with you, whilst this you could just chuck over your shoulder, and I just found that a little bit easier. So I've got this for me, and then I've got a backpack for the baby, so it's quite easy for Rich to carry because essentially he'll be the one that's carrying it, but it's a really good size. I just took out all of the Pack-A-Pod pod things, and then obviously you've got like all of these pockets on the inside, and I really liked that this has like a little accessible door thing to get into the bag as well as the top, so if there's anything in the bottom of my bag I don't have to like rummage it all out. I can just kind of slip in and slip back out again. So I have a full rucksack, I can't even lift it, full of food basically, and in here we have, and there's logic to all of this. Right, let's lie you down. We have pot noodles. Now the reason we have pot noodles, and this is again a really big essential that I 100% recommend that you take, not necessarily pot noodles but like some form of instant food. When I gave birth to Rory I was out and back on the recovery ward by about, I think it was like 1 AM, 2 AM, like the following day, and I was absolutely starving. Like I hadn't ate for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden once like all the adrenaline went and everything calmed down, I was suddenly so hungry. And luckily for me, like the hospital cafeteria was open, but when I asked for food, like when I said like, oh, where can I get food, they weren't sure if the hospital like canteen would be open, they didn't have any food, and like everybody was going home because it was like 2 AM, and they were being sent on their way. So yeah, I was really nervous that I was going to be starving all night. Luckily like the canteen was open, but I didn't want to take that risk this time, so I'm taking pot noodles because it's instant. You have access to like the kitchen on the recovery ward, which does have hot water, so I just thought that that's a really good one just in case you're really hungry. Obviously it's not the most nutritious thing, but it will fill you up. So I have a few of those. I've also packed these, well actually Rich packed these like breakfast drinks that have extra protein in them, because protein, like you're gonna need it, and again it could be handy for the next day if you don't drink it, just to get your strength back, but I feel like it will be a good one for labour and it's quite easy to drink. I have packed some Eat Natural bars because I love these, and again it's just quite a good snack if you're in labour or once you're in recovery afterwards. Rich has packed these like almond ball things, which I will not be going near because I don't like them. I've packed loads of sweets. I've packed toffee for Rich, candy rocks for Rich, pear drops for me. Pear drops are really good as well, like a hard candy for when you're in labour and doing gas and air, just to kind of keep your mouth, what is it, like to lubricate your mouth. I've packed Haribo and rhubarb and custard hard sweets. And I have packed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Lucozade Sports because these are just life when you're in labour. I definitely recommend getting either glucose tablets or Lucozade Sports, the ISO ones. Yeah, these are just amazing for labour, just to help keep you hydrated and to keep your strength up. So yeah, that is everything that is in my hospital bag. Like I said, I did overpack it slightly compared to what I did last time round, but I do feel quite comfortable and quite confident that I have everything that I need to be comfortable and to be happy in labour. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up because it really helps out, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully by the time this video goes up I will have given birth and had my baby and will be back with you with the newborn, but that's probably wishful thinking. I'm currently 39 weeks plus 1 day. My first baby was born at 39 weeks plus 3 days. I'm hoping that this baby is not going to keep me waiting for much longer, but we will see. Obviously all babies are different, but yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.